Howdy there, Chimp Champ. Welcome back to One Great Manga, where hopefully you are having a fantastic day today. And today, we're going to be talking about beginner comic books for manga readers. And without further ado, let's jump into it. Now, manga is very similar to comic books, and different at the same time. It's mostly due to how Eastern and Western ways of life are like put together, and due to that, they can have very drastic ideas about how to live life and what to do about it. Neither are incorrect. It's just really nice perspective, and that's something I really like about these two mediums. Is you get a very different perspective on something, and that usually isn't shown in manga. So I wanted to show off some beginner beginner comic books that you can read to start your little bit of your comic book journey. So first, I want to talk about, it's technically a graphic novel, but Scott Pilgrim. Oh man, I've been waiting to like talk about this series. I may or may not have made this video just to talk about Scott Pilgrim, but like, oh my word. So Scott Pilgrim is about this series about this 22-year-old loser, pretty much, who can't decide what the heck he wants in life. He can't decide what he wants to do. He just is very not wanting to do anything. He's not wanting to pick anything in his life. He's a very reactive character, and that's to a fault. He never really gets to pick what he wants. He just, like, oh, I don't want to do that, or oh, I don't know. And this ends up him going down the path of dating a 17-year-old girl called Knives Chow. Knife Chow? I don't remember the last name very well, but it's Knives, pretty much. And that's what the story starts out with. And they're like, you're dating a high schooler. And he's like, yeah, it's pretty cool or whatever, but he's not like super into her or anything. And then one night, he goes and has a dream about this one chick who's on rollerblades. And he's like, oh my goodness, I need to meet her. And it just so happens that she works at Amazon. And he finds this out because he was at like the library or whatever. He's like, I gotta meet her. So then he goes buy something off Amazon and he's like, yo, let's hang out, let's date or whatever. And she's like, sure, whatever. And the whole story is about them two trying to work out their differences and work together in a relationship. And it's just so freaking good. It's like, oh, I love it. You know, it sounds sappy. It sounds like a romance series, but it's really not. It's very similar to Shonen. It's a very, like, battle-heavy series where he has to defeat all her 7 evil exes, which, like, represent, like, her scars in her mind and, like, stuff that she is holding on to in her past. And Scott's there to, like, help her out with that. And that's just, oh, man! This story has so many, like, intricate like plot details that like you could totally miss or you could keep going with. It's just so freaking good. Best part is, depending on how you buy it, you can get these in full color. Compared to manga where it's black and white, this is god tier. I love Scott Pilgrim so much. The characters are so beautiful and distinct, and different, and just so great. And you can buy the box set, the full color box set, which includes all 6 volumes, for like $40. That's what I paid for mine. And if that's too expensive for you, you can buy the original black and white box set for like $20. And at that point, there is no excuse for you not purchasing Scott Pilgrim. It is a masterclass of graphic novels, and I love reading it from time to time. And also, it's got a lot of video game references. If you are into video games, you will love Scott Pilgrim. There's all kinds of stuff like Zelda. Their band's called like Saxophone Bomb. It's great. I love it. Anyway, so let's go to more, traditional comic book stuff where it's like superheroes. Now the first one isn't one I have, but Invincible. My man. Okay, so I'm guessing you've probably already seen the memes. You've probably seen the memes of Think Mark Think, and Invincible is it's so freaking good. I've been watching the TV show on Amazon Prime. I need to read the comic books eventually. But like, oh my word, it's so freaking good. It's pretty much about this 17-year-old teenager who magically gets superpowers because he's like alien, sort of. Half alien, half human. And he eventually gets them one day. And he has to, like, learn how to use them. You know, he's like, oh, that's just, you know, Superman, Spider-Man, you know, it's all stuff you've heard before, right? But the way they go about it's very vastly different. They do a much more realistic approach where, like, he's not good at it. He's never good at it. He's just like, crap, I don't know what to do. And then once you get the father aspect of it, where the father is like this manipulative, disgusting man who wants to like take over the earth, but like has to pretend to be their savior, it's just so dark and depressing. But like in a good way, it's so enthralling because you're like, Invincible's like trying his hardest to like do his best, and he's like failing really hard because he's like killing people by complete accident because he just doesn't know how to deal with his powers. And then his dad is just there like, oh, I know what I'm doing, you know. And then like when you don't see him in front of Invincible, he's over there like manipulating the strings in the background, trying to make him like take over the world. And it's awful for who he is as a character. But like I cannot get enough of it. It's so freaking good. You can read the series on Amazon Prime for free, the whole series. I always plug Amazon Prime, but like, and also the TV show's 8 episodes long. Freaking amazing. I'm on like episode 4 right now, and oh man, it's so freaking good. One of my favorite shows, possibly ever. Honestly, it's really freaking good. A little bit gory though, but yeah, I absolutely recommend Invincible if you want something that's not very superhero-esque that you're not used to seeing, and I really enjoyed that part about it. Another one. This is more traditional comic books again. These are 3 superheroes that I absolutely adore, and each one holds a very special place in my heart. So the first one is All-Star Superman #1. This is a 12-issue miniseries about Superman in an alternate dimension, so you don't need any like background on the character or anything like that. And he basically is dying, and all 12 issues are him going through his life and showing you who the character is and what he does and how much he means to these people. And it's just absolutely beautiful. I absolutely love All-Star Superman with a burning red sun passion. It's just so good. I don't know what to say besides that. It takes a character that is so near and dear to me, someone who's a role model for me, honestly, and puts him in a light that just shows how strong of a character he is and why he's persevered for so long as a character. And I know a lot of people just see him as like this invincible dude who just does nothing. I mean, just does whatever he wants and like super strong. And you know, they're like, what's the fun in that? How do you like create a character like that and not have any stake in him? If he's just going to destroy every villain he gets into, then what's the point, right? And fair point. I mean, yeah, he's strong and invincible, and like no one can really defeat him. But there's a lot more to the physical aspect of a person or a character. Yeah, his emotional side, and Superman does that very beautifully with who he is and how he grows, and how the series ends. It's an absolutely amazing read, and I absolutely recommend it. I know I'm gonna say it again, but I believe it's also on Amazon Prime. You can read it for free, and it's worth it. I paid like $12 for all of these issues, so $1 each. If you can find it, which you can, it's super cheap. Please read it. It is one of my favorite stories of all time, and should not be missed because it's a Superman book, and everyone else's previous notions on the character. Another one that I love so much. These are like my 2 favorite comic books of all time. Quality-wise, I probably would say Sonic the Hedgehog is my favorite. Because of like nostalgia-wise, but like quality-wise, these 2 are like my god tier. Oh my word, I love them so much. It's Ultimate Spider-Man. Ultimate Spider-Man is the ultimate combination of 60 plus years of the character and melding him together into this perfect version of him. And I just love absolutely everything about it. This is a series that's only like 160 issues long, which is not long at all. And you can buy each of these books for like $1 each. These are super cheap, by the way. And it takes the character who's had so much longing and endurance and like so much background, and like, okay, we're wiping him clean, we're starting brand new, and we're taking all the best parts and we're putting it in this one book called Ultimate Spider-Man, which is gonna give you the ultimate experience, and it's just so freaking good. This is just it's just beautiful, honestly. Like I said, it's about Spider-Man, and you know who Spider-Man is. He's a scared little 16-year-old teenager who cracks jokes because he's scared and nervous, and his stuff he was dealing with like bullies and responsibilities are only exaggerated. I'm trying to say exaggerated. I'm trying to remember what the word is, but exaggerated. Even further due to his powers. He, instead of bullies, he now has to deal with supervillains. And instead of like dealing with responsibilities of taking care of his parents and doing schoolwork, he's now having to deal with the relationships that he has with them and then breaking because of his superpowers and his responsibilities with helping others. But somehow he's able to persevere and continue, and oh my word, it like breaks my heart how much stuff Spider-Man has to go through and still comes out with a smile and keeps going through the pain and the hurt, and it's so freaking beautiful. Like I said, both of these two characters are like my role models. I love both of these books so freaking much and are super, super cheap if you can get your hands on them. Both of these are also in omnibuses, which can be found for relatively cheap as well, and I absolutely recommend them. These are like god tier reading, and I recommend them to anybody. If I had to like relate them to like a manga, that's something I don't know if I'd be able to do, because these are so vastly different characters and what they are. I would probably say I would relate this is gonna sound weird, but like I relate Spider-Man a lot to Ichigo in like the post Soul Society arc, where he's coming back from home and he's like all mopey and dopey. He's like, no matter how strong I am, I still can't help others, but I'm trying as hard as I can. That whole arc that he goes through is very similar to how Spider-Man does it, and if you loved that part of the series, you're gonna love Spider-Man. Ultimate Spider-Man. It's just so freaking great, and should honestly be read by everybody. And my final one is another superhero, is Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle is just, oh my heart. Okay, so this pretty much is similar to Invincible, where like it takes something that you like about superheroes, like, oh, it's a superhero book, I love superheroes, and then it twists it a little bit where you're like, oh dang, I wasn't expecting that, And with this book, you're pretty much getting the whole average teenager, gets special power, deals with the responsibilities of it. But unlike Spider-Man, where he keeps it a secret, he actually tells his parents and his family that he's a superhero, which is, to me, is a lot more realistic in how it should be portrayed. Because he's scared, he's nervous, he's not worried about if his parents are going to get hurt of him telling that, because he doesn't know about this power. He thinks this is like a sickness. He's like, oh my word, what's going on? This thing's on my back. What do I do? Someone please help me. And it's just crazy in that way. I really like that. They're very deep into his personal attachment to this superhero and what he does. He's very attached to it, and his family's like, please be careful, please don't hurt yourself. And he's like, I try my hardest, and he definitely tries, and it's just really freaking great. This is very similar to Spider-Man, so if you like Spider-Man, you'll love this. But like, I love all these series different together, but they're still different. I love them all for different reasons and what they do for me as a person. And so, as you can tell, I really like the whole teenager aspect to a lot of these, and that's mainly due to the fact that as a teenager, you're experiencing like a lot of changes in your life. A lot of things are happening to you, and you're not really sure what to do. And you're like, okay, so I'm supposed to act like an adult, but I'm treated like a kid. But like, how do I balance that? And then eventually you will have to like worry about getting a job and car payments and stuff. And you're like, I don't know what to do. I'm scared. I'm nervous. I don't know what to do, right? And that's shown really well in the characters of these comic books. And I feel like, while sure, adulting's a lot harder than being a teenager, I feel like the fear and the fear and the confusion that comes with being a teenager works really well for the superhero genre, and I really, really enjoyed that. But like, if you want an adult doing superhero stuff, Superman. And Superman's just, like I said, just a fantastic character. Who he is as a person, mwah, chef's kisses. Read it. Anyway, so yeah, those are what I would suggest to you, my friend, on what you should read if you like manga, but you also want to read comic books. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you're having a fantastic day. As always, go out there and read some manga, my friend.